Hi, Ian Waller here. We're going to talk about the 7 key mistakes in relation to job interviews and how to fix them. Don't like doing long videos, so we'll make sure that we go as quickly as we can. So, number one is researching the company. The mistake is going into an interview without understanding the organisation, its services, its culture, or its industry. The fix is to research the company website, LinkedIn, recent news. Prepare answers that connect your experience to their needs. For example, I'm particularly interested in this role because of your organisation's focus on, say, community outcomes, evidence based delivery. So make sure that you have an idea of what they're talking about because the first question may very well be, why do you wish to work for us? Number two is giving generic answers. So the mistake is providing vague responses without examples. So the fix is when answering, include what you've done as an example in the answer. Your answer should ideally fit around the personal requirements and the description of the position. Don't exaggerate your accomplishments. List them naturally. Recruiters have a lot of experience. We know when you're exaggerating, and we can pretty much tell when something doesn't pass the sniff test. Okay, example, in my previous role, managing, say, investigations, I coordinated a team of 5 reviewing multiple cases simultaneously. I implemented a structured case review process which improved completion time by 25%. They're the kind of examples you want to give. Either that, or if you're giving a specific case example or a story example, or an example if you're an accountant of how you fixed a general ledger, things along those lines. Number three, the response. The mistake is talking too much or not enough. This includes rambling or just one word answers. The fix is to think about your response and align it with your experience, provide an example. So you should always take a pen and paper in with you, and you should be jotting down ideas in relation to the question so that you're prepared. You should be responding for 1 to 2 minutes per answer. You need to practice this. That will give you an idea of the timings. Forget about the STAR method. Okay, people get confused, and we often explain this. Think about an example and an outcome. There are a lot of methods. You've got a CAR method, a PAR method, SAO, SAW, STAR L, ACE, KSA format. All it means is example and outcome. That will cover all of them. You're telling the story of what you did and the results of that story. Number four is a poor response. The mistake is not answering the question properly. And you can do this by either talking around the question or giving generic answers. This tells us, and if you're telling long stories that don't address the criteria, this tells us that you really don't know what you're talking about. So you need to listen to the question, take your notes, respond using an example and an outcome as it relates specifically to the question. Number five is not preparing for questions. Not preparing is a major mistake. A lot of people go, oh, I'll wing it. I do heaps of interviews. I'll go in there. It won't be a problem. But first up, you need to read the position description. Identify 4 or 5 key responsibilities that are really important in that position description. Okay, that's the first thing. That's where the questions will come from. Have yourself prepared with the responses to the responsibilities, which includes your example and outcomes for the specific question. Make sure you prepare for it. Don't just try and wing it. Number six, the first and last impression. The mistake is having a weak opening, a weak closing. First impressions matter. This includes a nervous rush introduction, editing answers abruptly. Ensure that you are presentable. First impressions do count. Make sure you dress for the occasion. As part of your research, you would have identified the type of clothing they typically wear. And make sure that you wear that in the interview situation. Obviously, a suit, tie, at least a collared shirt. Don't go in there just unprepared. You need to confirm the time and place where the interview will be conducted. Be organised and arrive with enough time to settle the nerves. Visit the area prior to the interview if you've got time. That way you can gain some familiarity with the surroundings. And I know it sounds silly, be aware where the nearest toilets are. Interviewees can be kept waiting for some time. The last thing you want to be doing is squirming in your seat. Finished with a result and an impact. The last thing is what we call a deer in a headlight scenario. This mistake is that you get the first question and your mind goes completely blank and you're feeling vulnerable and nervous and you just don't know what to do. That's where the notepad and the pen come in handy. You make sure you start taking short notes during the question. This allows your brain to start the task of focusing upon what is required in order to properly answer that question. As we said, we like to keep our videos short, so if you have any questions at all, please go down into the comments section. Please ensure that you subscribe and share the video, and we look forward to seeing you in more. Hi, Ian Waller here, Director of Employment One. You may or may not have heard of our incredible platform where you respond to our specific questions and it writes your resume and selection criteria for you. Yep, it writes it. It is thanks to our own re-engineered AI. ChatGPT gives you text, we give you an application. We offer this as a great price for a 1-year license, $88 for the resume and cover letters, $220 for the resume and criteria. You've got unlimited use with the criteria. There's 5 a month, but you can go ahead and use them, store up, get your library going, start applying for jobs. It's got great success out there already. We only just released it recently, and people are already getting interviews and jobs as a result of it. Use code BLUE to get this price at the checkout.